I got a text from my youngest sister this morning, and quite frankly, it kind of ticked me off. So today I'm going to finally tell the story about why I don't talk to most of my family anymore. It's kind of a long one, so buckle in. I got some corn because it's going to be messy, baby. So starting at the beginning, my parents met in the 80s. They were part of the big Christian revival. They converted from Catholicism, much to the dismay of both sets of my grandparents, and they moved down to Virginia. My dad got a job with Pat Robertson at the Christian Broadcasting Network. He was the print shop manager. It was really great for a while. I had two brothers, two sisters. I am the second in line, so I'm not the oldest girl. Might as well be the oldest. That's kind of how I always think about that. But anyway, my dad ended up losing his job, and it really threw my family into turmoil for a really long time. And we moved out to this very rural area that was about an hour away from Virginia Beach, where we had originally lived, and we struggled to acclimate. My mom was very alone. Her family was all up in Pennsylvania, where she was from, and she was trying to raise 5 kids, which I have opinions on that, but that's for another video. When I was about 12, my parents began what was going to be a very messy divorce. So far as that we had to testify on the witness stand against our own mother. It was really, really messy. And my mom actually did lose custody of us for a little while. My dad had this really great lawyer that he hired, and that lawyer ended up having to be paid for by my uncle, who had co-signed so that my dad could get these services from this lawyer. So it was a really, really messy situation. And God bless my uncle for still even talking to my dad. I think it was 30 grand out of his pocket at that time. I still think about that, and it makes me angry. But anyway, that's another story for another day. When my sisters became the age, my sisters are both younger than me. I am second oldest. There's 2 years in between all of us, 5 basically. My sisters are a little less than 2 years apart, but it went, I was 12, my brother was 14, middle brother was 10, younger sister was 8, and then the baby was, 6 or 7 years old. So when all of this was starting, obviously they were very young. They were still attached to my mom. When they did get to be the age finally where they could decide where they could go by the court system, they decided to go with my mom. It was tricky. It was tricky all the way around. My parents are probably diagnosable narcissists. I don't know that for a fact, but we grew up in a very competitive household. We were always competing for our parents' attention, and I didn't know that there was kids that grew up that just had parents that loved them regardless of whether they acted out or not. In our household, it was very much if you acted good, you got treated good. Anyway, a lot of family dynamics maybe you guys don't need to know, but it set us up for a lot of failure in our adulthood because we had a very religious, rigid background, and yet we were also very naive to the society that we were being put into the world. I was 16 years old. My sisters had moved up to be with my mom, and at 16 years old, I was driving from Virginia Beach to Pennsylvania to go see my sisters at least twice a year. It's about a 400-mile drive, and you go across one of the most dangerous tunnels, the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel. And here I was 16, I was driving back and forth, really doing the job of my parents to try to keep our family solidified somehow. I was just trying to figure out some semblance of family relations. My dad worked a lot. He, wasn't the type of dad that was at our sporting events when we were young. I mean, he was just always working. That was his MO, and that was his generation, I think, to be honest. I think that they really thought that was where they contributed the most value, sadly. Anyways, so all through my late teens, early 20s, I'm really, really close with my sisters. When my younger sister graduates, which was 2008, she ends up moving into my apartment with me that I had gotten on my own. It was right outside of my college. I was working at a local bar, so it was a good situation for her to come down and live, and she ended up going to nursing school at the same college that I did. And it was great. We kind of watched on each other. We took care of each other. But I will say this, I was a very charismatic girl in my 20s. I think I was drinking a lot, and I think I just had this bubbly personality. I think I was really living out the childhood that I didn't get when I was younger. And at that time, I didn't really realize that my sister started to harbor some resentment because she thought I was maybe having too much fun, or maybe she was wanting to be a part of it, but not knowing how to express that. Maybe she didn't like the type of fun I was having. You know, I was going out and drinking a lot with my friends. It was, at that time, millennials, like in our early 20s, it was, where are we going that night? That was our lifestyle. So I think she kind of felt a little bit lost in it. So she met a guy at work and they started dating. And they ended up getting married. And my sister had absolutely no experience with men before this. Like, she was very innocent. We were bred to be pure. You know, we were, my mom especially really, you know, hounded us about that. And, you know, my sisters were raised by my mom in the latter years of their teenage years. So, of course, they were going to be, you know, all about that purity culture and all that stuff. So, as a result of that, I think when my sister started to get curious with her boyfriend, she started to feel really guilty. And she was really pushing for marriage, and they were together a long time before they got married. I never really was close to the guy, never was close to him, never really developed a relationship with him. But they spent a lot of time together. Their family traveled. She traveled a lot with his family. They went to Disney, I want to say, like every year. And she, you know, was very close, ended up marrying him. Well, down the road, my mom ended up, there was certain points throughout all of our adult years where my mom had to live with us. In fact, when me and my sister were living in that apartment that I told you about, my mom ended up coming to live, and then I ended up moving out because me and my mom weren't getting along, and it was like my apartment. It was weird. I was paying like 2 rents at once. And then my mom ended up moving out of that place, but then she was kind of struggling. She's basically always struggled financially since my parents' divorce because she was not set up for success in that route. That's a whole nother conversation again. So my mom for a period lives with my sister and her husband, and he is in medical school, and he ends up leaving his phone in his coat pocket. My mom hangs it up out of the habit of being neat, and then my sister finds his phone later on and realizes he has been stalking me. She opens up the phone and realizes that he's got nude photos of me on his tabs. And she goes to his computer, digs up all of these times that he has been stalking me. I later find out that he had hacked into my phone once when I was at their apartment one time, that he had taken photos of me on a family vacation, had filmed me in and out of the shower. It was... You can imagine. You can imagine. Now, it's important to note that the only reason that I even ever ended up turning him in was because we had gone on vacation with my family from Ireland, and my uncle, who is a now retired guard at the jails, was like, look, I know these types of guys, they never change. You have to turn this guy in, and you have to basically save your sister. It wasn't because I had these big, strong men in my life that were willing to defend me and my sister. It was literally an outsider. That was how ostracized I was from my family after this happened, as if it was somehow my fault. And I'm still, to be honest, treated like that. And I mean, of course I knew that, and that was like a burden on me, but I also have her on the other line saying, hey, don't say anything, don't do anything, he's gonna... And I'm just like, here I'm in this position, you know, and in my mind, I gave all of the evidence that I had. I sat down with a detective for, it was probably at least 3 to 4 hours, told her everything that I knew. They did say that because my sister wouldn't testify against him or wasn't willing to, that it was going to be kind of a problem. And this is really just all back information. Everything has kind of been exacerbated since then. Now, my sister ended up staying with him and working things out, and now they have 2 kids together. So I basically didn't talk to my sister all through either one of her pregnancies, to be honest. After her first pregnancy, I did spend some time with her, in those 6 months, and I got really close with her again. And then something happened to where, I'm sure it was something pertaining to that, you know, because I was always on her about wanting better for her. I mean, yeah, she's with a guy that's a doctor, and that's great, but you're with somebody that, in my mind, is a criminal. I don't understand why we just can't hold these people accountable, why there has to be this veil over the truth. And now she's got 2 kids, and these kids are so wonderful. And I am, thick as thieves with these kids, you guys. You don't understand. And here we haven't been talking for the last couple of months, and I'm so over this whole situation because I never asked to be in the midst of it. And here I am. I'm always the elephant in the room. I'm always the problem. My brother's getting married in a couple of weeks, and I know everybody's going to be there. And like, I want to see my nephews, but I'm afraid for them because I don't know the lengths through which I don't know the lengths that a person like him would go. And I just hope that I hope that they would never be hurt. Oh my God, I didn't know I was gonna cry.
If breaking up with your partner breaks your trust in other people, you never were actually in love with your partner. That is attachment.
Let's talk about big creators stealing small creators' content, i.e. what just happened to me. So about a month and a half ago, I made this video about the 2 things I always do when I wear a hat. I used to not like wearing hats because I didn't think I looked cute until I started doing these 2 things. And I was wearing a hat that day. I felt inspired to share it with my audience. I hadn't seen a video like that, so that's what I did. And the video did pretty well. And a couple days ago, some sweet angel of a TikTok user commented and tagged me in this creator's video. This creator made this video a couple days ago. Never seen her before, but she has almost 200,000 followers. And to say that our videos are similar is a bit of an understatement. She essentially just copied my entire video from like the opening line to the wording, verbiage, phrasing, the 2 tips I used. The 2 tips I used are nothing groundbreaking. They aren't. And I'm not trying to like gatekeep making videos on this subject, but this was straight up just copying my video, and there's a couple things that bother me about this situation. The first thing is she did not tag me. I think she did that very intentionally because she just copied my video, and I've had some people stitch my video and tag me in their videos when they're trying these things out, and I love that. Like, I love when people see one of my videos and are inspired enough to try doing whatever I did themselves. Like, I think that's the point of TikTok. I think that's so cool and one of my favorite parts about making content. But this was not being inspired by content. The other thing that bugs me is she didn't really add anything to the video. She just straight up copied everything that I said. And after watching the video and kind of realizing what happened, it really just gave me such like an icky feeling. Like, it just felt like she was trying to secretively do this, thinking I would never see her video, which I probably wouldn't have ever seen her video if it wasn't for that random person tagging me in her comments. It just felt like she was trying to take advantage of a small creator. It just felt very calculated and slimy, to the point where I wouldn't be surprised if she's done this in the past or does this regularly. And the main thing that bugs me about this situation, whether you've been creating content for 2 days or 2 months or 2 years or however long you've been creating content, we all started in the same position. We all started with 0 followers, not really knowing what we're doing. And the fact that this person, who has probably been on TikTok a lot longer than I have, is doing that to a small creator just really rubs me the wrong way. It's just slimy and mean. And it's like, I don't understand why somebody would do that. I've tried to message her on TikTok. I've tried to message her on Instagram. I've commented on her videos. I've seen people tagging her in my video and vice versa. I have not heard from her. I think that's also very intentional. I think she's trying to ignore me and sweep it under the rug. So it's okay to be inspired by videos you see on TikTok. It's naturally gonna happen always, but just give credit where credit is due, and maybe don't straight up copy a video word for word.
The drama in my life right now isn't even mine. It's like the shit I overhear in the school bathroom, and now I'm like invested. Yesterday I was in there minding my business, doing my business, and these 2 girls come in, not to use the bathroom. What they were talking about was wild. Now, before I continue, I'm not judging. It's your life. You do you. It's just crazy to hear. Now, I know a decent amount of people in my grade and the grade below me. So, then these people I didn't recognize, so which means they were like freshmen, or maybe sophomores, but probably freshmen. So this one girl's like, oh my god, like, I like your bracelet, or like something. She gave her a compliment. She was like, thanks, like, I got it yesterday. Oh, where'd you get it? And she was like, oh, I stole it. And I was like, oh, okay. Stealing is not that uncommon, so that wasn't the big shock. And then the other girl was like, oh, it's so cute, like, do you think you could steal me one? The other girl was like, oh yeah, like, I can steal it after school, like, isn't your birthday soon? Like, it can be your birthday present, we can, like, do it together. And I was like, oh my god, that's a really interesting way to bond. And then a third girl walks in, and she's like, yo, not saying names, I got your shit. And then one of the girls walks away, and then the other 2 girls start making out. Again, you do you, like, pop your pussy in the school bathroom, but they were like making out, and I'm sitting there like, they start doing whatever they're doing, and I'm sitting there like, fuck, I can't leave the bathroom right now. That's like weird. So they finish sucking face, and one of the girls is like, okay, like, I love you, bye. She leaves the bathroom, and then another girl came in. I could tell because I was washing their shoes. Another girl came in and starts making out with the girl that was just making out with the other girl who just did the drug deal with the other girl. And they're like smacking on each other too. And then the new girl who just came in is talking about some like, oh, is your ex still bothering you? Like, God, she's so annoying. And the girl's like, yeah, she was just in here like stalking me. Like, it was so weird. I was like, oh, you, what? So then I come out the bathroom because I've been in there for a really long time. And I'm like, I give her like the like smile, you know what I mean? And she was like, hi. And I was like, hi. And then I went back to class, and now every day I've been looking at everybody's shoes trying to figure out who the fuck these girls were. Love you, and I will report back.
The reason most couples argue is because you guys are both making your own assumptions about what the other person's thinking, their intentions. Oh, you probably did this because you didn't care about me. I'm gonna be honest, that's very unreasonable. Assuming that your partner has malicious motives to hurt your heart sounds like the perfect formula for you to continue your avoidant behavior, for you to choose to protect yourself, defend yourself, not be a part of this relationship.
The true test whether a girl likes you or not is simply this. When she's had a couple of drinks, she's out with the girls, she's getting a little tipsy. Are you the boy that she's messaging? Are you receiving texts from her? Because if you're not, then I think that's your answer.
Someone literally just took a picture of me while I'm running, okay? So I'm on my run. And everybody knows, like, if you're working out, you don't want fucking people taking pictures of you because that's when you look like you're worse and you're sweating and blah, blah, blah. I let it slide for the first 2 people that took pictures of me. I let it slide. I was like, okay, like, I'm not gonna say anything. 3 more people start taking videos of me, right? And I'm like, do I have fucking something on my face? So I'm looking in the camera. Nothing's on me. I look completely normal. I'm like, why are they taking fucking videos of me? And then I hear 2 people whispering in the corner after they took a video of me. They said, is that really her? Is that really her? So I'm like, who are they talking about? So I go over to them and I'm like, hey, why are you taking videos of me? Like, can you please just go delete that? Like, I feel sort of uncomfortable with people doing that. And they were like, well, we've never met a celebrity before. Like, we just think it's really cool that you're here, like, in our town. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they were like, we know you're well known for modeling your spicy rigatoni pasta. And I was like, wait, do you think that? And they look at me up and down. They go, you're Bella Hadid. And I was like, guys, that's so, like, nice of you, but I'm literally not her. Like, you got the wrong girl. And then they start profusely apologizing. They were like, we're so sorry. You're so slim and so skinny and petite. Like, we could barely even see you. That's why we thought you were Bella Hadid. And they continued to say, yeah, like, when you ran past us, it just looked like a bullet from Mario Kart because, one, you were going so fast because you're so small, so it was easy for you. And because we could barely even see you. And I was like, guys, like, I get that I'm, like, really petite and skinny and small. And, like, I was born super dainty, but I'm not Bella Hadid. And, like, I'm a person, too. And I prefer you don't take pictures of me while I'm working out, you know? And then they warned me to be careful because if I continue to work out and burn fat, I'm gonna become invisible. I don't know. At the end of the day, it's like, guys, just please don't take pictures of me. If you see me in public, like, please just, like, leave me alone. I get that I'm really skinny, but it's just none of your business.